Today's news highlights. Date May 15, 2025. News highlights: U.S. President Donald Trump embarked on a second term in Arabia, visiting Saudi Arabia and signing a number of agreements with Saudi Arabia, including $142 billion in arms sales and $600 billion in investment cooperation. At the investment forum, he called on Saudi Arabia to join the Abraham Accords and announced the lifting of sanctions on Syria. Zheng Qinmo, a professor at Tamkang University, analyzed that this symbolizes the dawn of peace in the Middle East, with strong support for the U.S. economy, and at the same time using oil prices to hit Russia's combat power and expand the role of the Middle East in the global industrial chain. News highlights: Anna, a student at Stanford who studies China issues, was recently contacted by the CCP as a fake student, revealing that the CCP launched a systematic intelligence infiltration operation on American campuses. The operation is divided into 3 steps: targeting, loyalty testing and returning information, and the scholarship system is used to control international students. Some of the families of those who refused to cooperate have been pressured in China, causing fear and silence among students. Experts called for greater transparency in universities, confronting the risk of CCP infiltration, and publicly exposing espionage to protect academic freedom and national security. News highlights: under the wave of energy transition, the local energy storage industry Xiidle started with a 3-person R&D team, and after financial and technical challenges, it has built the largest battery module automated production line in Taiwan, successfully laid out the energy storage case, and is expected to be listed in June. With its self-developed EMS and BMS systems, Xiidle has entered the pre-meter and behind-meter energy storage market, and expanded to the world, demonstrating Taiwan's MIT manufacturing strength, with the goal of becoming a leader in the energy storage industry. News highlights: the U.S. Department of Commerce has made it clear that the use of Huawei's Ascend AI chips anywhere in the world violates U.S. export controls, further undermining the CCP's ambition to develop advanced chips. Although Huawei's Ascend 910 series chips are benchmarked against NVIDIA products in the United States, they are limited by SMIC's process and yield, and the number of cores and performance are inferior. The analysis points out that the U.S. sanctions have significantly weakened Huawei's chip strength, increased the pressure on its production costs and resource allocation, and restricted the CCP's technological breakthroughs and strategic expansion in the field of AI. News highlights: according to the Hongdae Foundation, ageism in language is quietly increasing, with words such as not knowing the trend and silver tsunami, which invisibly equate old age with burden. Studies in the United Kingdom and the United States show that negative depictions of older people are 6 times higher than positive depictions, and more than 8 adults in Taiwan have experienced discrimination. Through data analysis, the foundation uncovers linguistic biases and promotes positive language to improve intergenerational relationships. At the same time, the report also exposes 7 aging challenges, such as the surge in the elderly population living alone and the heavy pressure of caregiving, and calls on the society to face up to the reality and hidden worries of the ultra-aging society. News highlights: U.S. President Donald Trump kicked off his second term in the Middle East, making his first stop in Saudi Arabia, where he emphasized U.S. Saudi cooperation and signed the largest arms sales deal in history. Trump announced the lifting of sanctions on Syria, hoping that it will return to the international community and push for Saudi Arabia to join the Abraham Accords. Experts point out that this move will help peace in the Middle East, boost the U.S. economy, suppress Russia's combat power, and counter the expansion of the CCP's power. The United States also hopes to replace the red supply chain with the India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor and strengthen its global strategic layout. News highlights: you don't know how to write a program to build an AI product. Senior product manager Su Jinshan used ChatGPT and Claude to develop an AI comic translation tool, AI Manga Translator, which successfully translated millions of comics and exceeded $10,000 in revenue in a single month. Starting from his interest, he completed the MVP in 2 months, and relied on AI to solve the problems of translation, typesetting, and semantics, which won the favor of users. This case shows that AI lowers the threshold for development and everyone can start a business, and Su Jinshan also encourages courage and enthusiasm to embrace the opportunities and possibilities brought by AI. News highlights: U.S. President Donald Trump led tech giants to Saudi Arabia, and the 2 sides signed a $600 billion cooperation agreement, with AI as the core focus. NVIDIA, Huawei, Google, Amazon, and other companies will spend more than $100 billion to help Saudi Arabia build AI infrastructure. Taiwanese manufacturers such as TSMC, Honhai, and Weiying are expected to benefit greatly and become key players in the global supply chain. Huawei will supply 18,000 AI chips and train developers, while Amazon and Cisco have also launched a layout in the Middle East, showing that AI has become the focus of international competition. News highlights: on May 14, Shinkong Mitsukoji's board of directors approved the amendment of the board of directors resolution charter, reducing the resolution threshold from 2/3 to more than half, so as to improve the efficiency of the board of directors and comply with the listing regulations, and make key preparations for the listing. Other articles of association, such as the number of seats and the introduction of INEDs, will be discussed after the re-election of the board of directors. The board of directors emphasized that stability is the priority, supports Chairman Wu Dongsheng and General Manager Wu Ziniang, and gives priority to resuming the operation of the Taichung store. The meeting was attended by directors from both sides and reached a consensus on the future listing plan. News highlights: MSCI announced the results of the semi-annual adjustment on May 14, and Taiwan stocks maintained one of the three major indexes and slightly decreased the weight, and the weight will take effect after the close of trading on the 29th. The weighting of Taiwanese stocks in the global market index remained at 1.74%, but the emerging market index and the Asia ex-Japan index were lowered by 0.08% and 0.05% respectively. The legal person estimates that this adjustment will lead to an outflow of about 29 billion yuan, and reminds us to pay attention to the possible tail-ticking effect of the tracking index at the end of the 29th. Despite the weight reduction, Taiwan stocks performed strongly, with foreign investors overbuying for 9 consecutive days, while the stock exchange emphasized that it will continue to promote corporate governance and high-quality listings to enhance international competitiveness. News highlights: Quanta's first quarter profit margin reached a record high of 5.07%, with net profit after tax of RMB 19.498 billion, up 22.8% quarter-on-quarter and 61.6% year-on-year, and net profit per share of RMB 5.06, benefiting from strong demand for general-purpose and NVIDIA Hopper-based AI servers. Chief Financial Officer Yang Junli said that the momentum of laptops and AI servers will continue in this quarter, and the proportion of AI servers will exceed 70%, but due to the investment in R&D to prepare the next generation of servers, gross profit margin and profit margin may be under pressure. Notebook PC shipments in the first quarter were 10.8 million units, a better-than-expected performance, and the risk of exchange rate fluctuations was controllable. The stock price rose strongly, and foreign capital bought 4 in a row. News highlights: following Wangdalu, the prosecutors and police continued to investigate the case of artists involved in desertion, and 9 people, including William and Chen Lingju, were detained and paid bail of 150,000 to 500,000 yuan respectively. Some of the artists involved in the case have exceeded the age of 36 and are not required to enlist in the army, but they still face criminal liability for violating the military service law and forgery of documents. Media people questioned whether the exchange of fines for freedom and exemption from military service was too lenient for artists, which aroused social concern about the fairness of military service and the implementation of the law. News highlights: Yan Yelun made a comeback in the entertainment industry and publicly reunited with his assistant and lover Xian, who had disappeared for 9 months, showing a stable relationship and determination to restart his career. Yan Yelun attended brand activities and dance training classes, and was carefully accompanied by Xian throughout the whole process. Regarding the controversy over his comeback on the internet, he responded that understanding yourself is the most important thing. Although the past romance and lawsuit turmoil have attracted attention, he responds to external doubts with a calm attitude and focuses on rebuilding his image and career. News highlights: a human tragedy occurred in Keelung City on the 14th. A 5-year-old boy was tortured and killed by his 45-year-old father surnamed Jane, and his face was covered in blood and he was lying in the bedroom of his residence and was sent to the hospital for treatment. The boy's mother was separated from Jane and had applied for a domestic violence protection order, which caused tragedy before it was issued. After the incident, Jian Nan escaped and was arrested 2 hours later, confessing to committing the crime, and the motive is still to be clarified. The tragedy shocked society and raised awareness of domestic violence prevention and child protection. News highlights: the premiere of the movie Search for Rugongjian was held on the 14th, and the starring Zhu Xianyang and Wu Zhouyuan were on the same stage for the first time due to the emotional turmoil in the past, but there was zero interaction, which attracted attention. Zhu Xianyang, Zhang Shi, and Pan Yujun play a family. Zhang Shi smiled and said that Zhu reminded him of his young self. Director Lai Junya was praised by producer Chu Liang for his accurate casting, and Wu Zhouyuan showed a professional performance and was affirmed by the crew. The film is expected to be released on May 22. News highlights: artist Wang Dalu was involved in evading military service with a lot of money, and the Flash Soldier Group case was brought out, and the prosecutor expanded the investigation yesterday and arrested at least 10 people, including William, Chen Lingju, Dagan, and other artists. William paid bail of 500,000 yuan, and Dagan paid bail of 200,000 yuan after returning to Taiwan from abroad, and publicly apologized, admitting that his behavior was stupid and willing to be responsible. It is reported that the male soldier falsified a report on abnormal blood pressure through an illegal group to evade military service, and whether medical personnel are involved remains to be investigated, which has aroused great concern in the society about the artist's desertion. News highlights: Lin Chiling was invited to attend the Cannes Film Festival International Women's Film Forum and will appear this afternoon Taiwan time. However, she revealed on IG earlier that she had severe allergies and rashes on her face because she slept on an unfamiliar pillow, and she had no choice but to pout and cry in the hope of recovering quickly. She and her 3-year-old son will have an all-English conversation with representatives of the Asian film industry to discuss the current situation and future of Asian women's films. News highlights: US President Donald Trump announced a big announcement that would shake the world. causing speculation about whether the United States and Taiwan will establish diplomatic relations, but the truth has nothing to do with Taiwan. Trump announced the lifting of all sanctions against Syria in the Middle East and held the first U.S. Syrian summit with interim President Sheila in 25 years, emphasizing the positive impact on the Syrian people. This move symbolizes the new posture of the U.S. side after the change of regime in Syria, and has also aroused the attention of the international community. News highlights Taifeng Tire, a time-honored tire factory in Taiwan, announced that the Guanyin plant would permanently stop production and sell land and plants, shocking the industry. The company pointed out that due to the impact of high anti-dumping duties and tariffs in the United States, exports were blocked, revenue declined, and it was not beneficial to restart production. The equipment of the Guanyin factory will be sold at market price, and the order will be transferred to the OEM in Southeast Asia. According to financial expert Wang Jimin, the U.S. tariff policy is the key factor that crushes Taifeng, but the current tariffs are suspended, and the industry still has room to breathe. News highlights the Yuanta Taiwan 50 ETF, 0050, which has more than 1 million shareholders, will last trade on June 10 and relist on June 18 after a quadruple split. After the split, each unit was split into 4 units, and the investment threshold was reduced from about 182,900 yuan to about 45,700 yuan, increasing investors' willingness to participate. The stock exchange said that trading and book changes will be suspended during the split period, and the new beneficiary certificate will be officially listed for trading on June 18. News highlights: since the Taiwan Affairs Office of the State Council of the People's Republic of China set up a special column for reporting Taiwan independence thugs and accomplices in March, it has received nearly 6,000 emails to report them. Spokesman Chen Binhua said that the relevant personnel will be verified and punished in accordance with the law, and criticized the DPP authorities' discrimination against Liu Pei as a political persecution. In response to Taiwan's recent pro-mainland and anti-persecution demonstrations, he stressed that the mainland will continue to provide support and protect the rights and interests of mainland distribution. News highlights: Zhao Weiguo, the former chairman of China's Unigroup Group, who once threatened to acquire TSMC and Mediatek, was sentenced to death with a 2-year suspension and confiscated personal property by a Chinese court for embezzlement and illegal possession of state-owned assets. During Zhao's tenure, he was involved in profiteering for specific related parties and caused losses of more than 1.3 billion yuan through improper transactions, which shocked the industry. The case highlights China's determination to strengthen the supervision of state-owned enterprises, SOEs, and helps to straighten out the order of the capital market, but it also raises concerns about the interweaving of business operations and political risks. News highlights: the case of actor Wang Dela Flash Soldier was extended, and the prosecutor and police detained Chen Lingzhu, William, and many other artists on the 14th, which aroused the attention of public opinion. In contrast, veteran artist Tai Chi-yun, 58, still challenged the one-day call, participated in live ammunition shooting in a 7 km march, and was praised as a model grandfather. In addition, male stars such as Lin Zhiying and Bai Shuwen also served full military service during the popular period, showing the spirit of law-abiding, which aroused heated discussions among netizens about the attitude of military service in the entertainment industry. News highlights: in view of the controversy over whether or not some Taiwan artists, such as Yu Yang Nana, cooperated in forwarding military exercises and other reunification remarks during China's development period, Chu Chuicheng, chairman of the Mainland Affairs Council, said that if cooperation with the CPC's party, government, and military organs is involved, it may violate Article 33 of the Cross-Strait Regulations. An administrative review has been initiated, and those who are found to be true will be fined 100,000 to 500,000 yuan in accordance with the law. Chu emphasized that the influence of artists comes from Taiwanese society, and they should avoid encouraging and threatening Taiwan, and reminded that applying for Chinese documents may lose Taiwanese nationality. News highlights: Japanese physician Umgaka Kitoshi shared his weight loss experience, pointing out that although an extreme low-carb diet can reduce weight in the short term, it is easy to regain weight and cause side effects such as fatigue and muscle loss. He switched to a Japanese-style set meal-based rice diet, and lost 12 kilograms a year in a balanced body and mind, improving gout and kidney stones. He stressed that rice is a source of nutritious carbohydrates, and a balanced intake of protein and vegetables is more conducive to healthy weight loss, with a recommended intake of 100 to 200 grams of rice per meal, and adjusting the calorie ratio of 3 meals to 3:3:4 to avoid excessive dinner. News highlights: U.S. President Donald Trump recently accepted a $400 million 747-8 jet from Qatar as Air Force One, prompting criticism from the Democratic Party that the move involves corruption and national security risks. The incident came during Trump's visit to the Middle East, when Qatar Airways signed a historic $96 billion order with Boeing to buy more than 200 aircraft with 400 engines from Kiwi Airways. Trump stressed that the deal, which totals more than $243.5 billion, will create more than 1 million jobs in the United States. News highlights: a teacher surnamed Wang at Jinchinch Middle School in Kinmen sparked controversy when he found indecent content in the health test questions of the section exam, and the school immediately adjusted the position of class instructor and launched a sexual equality investigation, and replaced it with an experienced teacher surnamed Chen. In order to explain the handling and assist students in preparing for the exam, the school held a parent-teacher meeting, but the meeting was lost due to the absence of all parents. Although they did not attend, most of the parents expressed their views through the willingness survey, indicating that they had some trust in the school's handling of the matter. The aftermath of the incident has not yet subsided, and the community calls on the county government to respond more actively to protect the rights and interests of students and the stability of further education. News highlights: a 5-year-old boy in Keelung City was suffocated to death by his father, Jian Nan, holding a pillow. The police arrested Jian Nan within 2 hours of receiving the report, and preliminary investigation revealed that Jian Nan was drunk and emotional because his wife insisted on divorce, and suffocated his son to death. In recent years, the husband and wife have not been in good relationship. The wife has applied for a protection order and separated, and the son is taken care of by the wife. The boy died after being taken to the hospital, and the prosecution found no other external injuries. Jian Nan admitted that the motive for the murder was dissatisfaction with the divorce decision, and the case shocked the society and aroused great concern about domestic violence and parent-child safety. News highlights: artist Wang Delu is suspected of spending 3.6 million yuan to find a flash soldier group to forge a medical certificate to evade military service. The case has expanded, and the prosecutor and police have detained a total of 9 people, including Chen Lingju, William, Dagan, etc., which has aroused social consternation. Actor K. Yulun said on Facebook that in the past, most of the drama seniors used gaining weight and retiring to legally avoid military service, which was regarded as a self-test, and later changed to serve first and then continue their studies, which was a responsible choice. Regarding the illegal desertion, he criticized spending a lot of money to break the law, and in the end you still have to become a soldier, stressing that military service is an honor and life experience. This remark caused heated discussions among netizens, who mostly supported serving in accordance with the law and denounced deserters as cowards who betrayed the country. News highlights: Sweet Beauty anchor Wang Nadian caused a serious ulcer in the esophagus due to improper medication, and called on fans to drink more water, 100-200C.C, when taking medicine and lie down at least 30 minutes after taking the medicine to avoid harm caused by the drug staying in the esophagus. Physician Zheng Wenai pointed out that if the water of capsules and lozenges is insufficient, it is easy to adhere to the esophagus and cause inflammation, and antibiotics and nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are at higher risk, with symptoms including chest pain and difficulty swallowing. Appropriate drug withdrawal and treatment can recover, but severe cases may lead to esophageal stricture, reminding that medication safety cannot be ignored. News highlights: Lee's Hillen and the agency denied the accusations, emphasizing that most of them were malicious composite pictures, and showed traces of alteration to prove innocence, saying that they would collect evidence and file a lawsuit. The incident sparked heated discussions among netizens, and the support for the reversal of the voice. At the same time, teammate Xiao Zhenmao, Wang Xinyu, was also revealed to have a black history of extramarital affairs in the past, and was sentenced to be punished. News highlights: after the crowd weight Andy and Jianing broke up last year, Andy broke the news that Jianing's mother and daughter had encroached on the channel, which caused heated discussions, but internet celebrity friends who knew both sides had different views. The internet celebrity pointed out that in the early years, Andy knew that Jianing's mother had a problem, but he delayed dealing with it, and now the news is unfair, and he is even suspected of being accused by his new girlfriend. Jianing was once controlled by her mother, physically and mentally traumatized, and participated in a spiritual class, and her communication was all filtered by her mother, and she became a victim who could not speak out. Internet celebrities lamented that Jianing's life was ruined, and she felt sorry that she could only bear the pain alone. News highlights: artist Huang Zijiao was sentenced to August in prison in the first trial on suspicion of downloading 2,259 child sex images on a candid photo forum, and the case is currently entering the second trial stage. On the 14th, the High Court continued the preparatory procedure, and Huang Zijiao appeared in court and left about 1 hour later, during which 16 victims had reached mediation with him, and some of them received compensation on the spot. Prosecutors pointed out that the yellow drive involved 47 victims, of which 35 were identified as being between the ages of 10 and 17, and another case was returned for reinvestigation, and 12 new girls were victimized. The victims' parents questioned that the settlement amount was too low, worried about the subsequent impact, and the court has restricted Huang Zijiao from leaving the country and added 500,000 yuan on bail. News highlights: artist Liu Junshuo recently clarified the controversy over exemption, saying that he had implanted a metal stent in the chest cavity for correction due to moderate pectus excavatum, which was removed in 2020 after 4 years, and was approved by the military to obtain exemption qualifications. He made public the photos of his hospitalization and braces that year, proving that his health condition did meet the criteria for exemption. Liu Junshuo emphasized that the pain after the operation was severe and his life was inconvenient, and he was not evading military service, so as to respond to the doubts of the outside world. This incident is in contrast to the incident of Chen Lingju, a member of the same group, forging a medical certificate and pretending to be sick, which has aroused heated discussions among netizens. News highlights internet celebrity Andy quickly became the fastest YouTuber in Taiwan to break 1 million subscribers after accusing his ex-girlfriend Jianing and his mother of embezzling a crowd-weight channel, and set off a judicial lawsuit. However, recently, an unknown person broke the news to the media, saying that he had the knowledge of the video shot in 2023, pointing out that Andy's frequent visits to nightclubs, bars, and other places of sound and sex did not match his public image, and questioned his emotional status, and asked for a transaction with a whistleblower fee. The breaking letter listed 4 major suspicions, implying that Andy's private life was suspicious, but the media did not accept this black letter, and the incident continued to attract attention and discussion. News highlights among the zodiac women. The 4 zodiac signs of the ox, rabbit, snake, and dog are particularly blessed with the character of old man is blessed. The ox girl is diligent and pragmatic, good at financial management, accumulates wealth and stable feelings in her later years, and enjoys double fulfillment. The rabbit girl is gentle and delicate, good at managing interpersonal relationships, family harmony in her later years, and a double harvest of material and soul. The snake woman is wise and sensitive, good at planning and investment, and has abundant wealth and a warm family in her later years. The dog girl is loyal and brave, actively balances work and family, harvests abundant love and wealth in her later years, and achieves a happy old age. With their unique personalities and hard work, these 4 zodiac signs bring love and wealth to the second half of their lives. News highlights Japanese cartoonist Ryaki's prophetic comic The Future I See, published more than 20 years ago, predicted a devastating earthquake in July 2025, which has recently caused panic in Hong Kong and Macau. As a result, Greater Bay Airlines, GBA, has reduced the frequency of its Sendai and Tokushima routes from May to October, mainly due to the predicted decline in passenger sentiment and the impact of U.S. tariffs. Ryaki said that he took an objective view of the matter, and hoped that everyone would turn their attention to disaster preparedness, and reminded the public not to be overly superstitious and to take appropriate action with reference to expert advice. News highlights new research has found that brewing tea not only has a health boost, but also purifies drinking water. A team from Northwestern University in the United States simulated the process of making tea and found that tea leaves or tea bags can absorb heavy metals such as lead and cadmium in water, and about 15% of lead can be removed by soaking a bag of tea leaves for 3 to 5 minutes. Black tea and ground tea have better adsorption effect due to their larger surface area. The adsorption effect of cellulose tea bags is better than that of cotton or nylon bags. The soaking time is the key to the adsorption effect, and the longer the time, the higher the removal rate. Although some tea leaves may contain heavy metals, most of them adhere to the tea leaves and do not dissolve into the tea soup. The study reminds that there is no need to use tea to purify water in areas with good water quality, but long-term drinking can reduce heavy metal exposure and be beneficial to health. News highlights Valeria Marquez, a 23-year-old popular TikTok influencer in Mexico, was live streaming at a beauty salon when a man on a motorcycle suddenly delivered a package, pulled out a gun and fired several shots, killing her instantly in the head and chest. The bloody footage was broadcast live, causing shock. The police preliminarily determined that the murderer acted alone. The motive is still unknown, and it is suspected that it is related to acquaintances or online disputes, and is actively tracking down the whereabouts of the murderer and the motorcycle. The case has aroused great concern in the society. News highlights Taiwanese people are accustomed to saying no more than you are welcome when responding to thank you from acquaintances, which has sparked discussions among netizens. Some people think that no is an expression of humility, which means that helping is a gesture and does not deserve special gratitude. Some people speculate that it is derived from the Taiwanese word, not, which means no thanks, which is more colloquial and friendly. In addition, some netizens feel that you are welcome is more formal and distant, which is suitable for people with higher status or unfamiliar acquaintances, and the use of won't between acquaintances is more gentle and easygoing, making people feel close to nature. On the whole, no is closer to the temperature of daily life and interpersonal interaction in Taiwanese culture. News highlights Fei Wang and her ex-husband Li Yapeng have an 18-year-old daughter, Li Yan, who has suffered from cleft lips since birth and has undergone multiple surgeries to repair it. Last year, she completed her 4th surgery in Taiwan, and recently appeared in a high-end department store in Beijing, showing a healthy complexion and beautiful figure, and the traces of surgery are no longer obvious. Li Yan is currently studying at the University of London in the United Kingdom, and her growth has attracted much attention. Fei Wang and Li Yapeng married in 2005, gave birth to Li Yan in 2006, and divorced in 2013. News highlights the summer electricity tariff will be in effect from May 16 to October 15, and many people are concerned about electricity consumption. Some netizens in PTT asked whether the air conditioning dehumidification function could replace the dehumidifier, which set off a heated discussion. The Energy Administration of the Ministry of Economic Affairs reminds that the power consumption of air conditioners when the dehumidification mode is turned on is about twice that of ordinary air conditioners, and the dehumidification capacity is limited, usually about 3 liters a day, far less than the 6 to 12 liters of dehumidifiers. Netizens suggest that air conditioning can be used to dehumidify and eliminate damp odors in summer, but if you need to dehumidify efficiently, you should still choose a dehumidifier. The Energy Department recommends using air-conditioned sleep mode to increase the temperature by 1 to 2 degrees Celsius to be comfortable and save electricity to avoid wasting electricity bills. News highlights: the 78th Cannes Film Festival opened in the early morning of the 14th, and the organizers strictly prohibit nudity and exaggerated dresses, hoping that the focus will return to film. Chinese actress Zhao Yingzi ignored the regulations, appeared on the red carpet in a silver see-through suit, and deliberately stuck at the scene and did not leave, and was finally asked to leave by the staff, which was embarrassing. Before the opening, she posted that the dress was defaced by coffee, which seemed to pave the way for a nude look. Foreign media paid limited attention to her, but she took a lot of beautiful photos by herself. Although he shared the touching moment of Robert De Niro's Lifetime Achievement Award, he was still criticized for using unscrupulous means to rub traffic, which aroused heated discussions among netizens. News highlights: Setsuko Ono, a 78-year-old elderly living alone in Japan, was admitted to a nursing home, and originally enjoyed a comfortable life at a monthly fee of 160,000 yen, about NT $33,200, but half a year later, due to the transfer of management rights and rising prices, the monthly fee of the nursing home notice was raised to 200,000 yen, about NT $41,500, which exceeded the burden of her monthly refund of 170,000 yen, forcing her to find another place to relocate. This incident highlights the risk of unstable fees and management changes in nursing homes, and reminds the elderly to carefully evaluate the financial and future policies of the operating company before moving in, so as to avoid losing their safe haven due to price fluctuations. News highlights: a child-killing case shocked the society yesterday in Keelung, where a 5-year-old boy was suffocated to death by his biological father, Jian Nan. Jane's marriage with his wife broke down, his wife applied for a protective order and moved out, and the two parties were in a dispute over the custody of their son over the divorce. On the day of the crime, Jian Nan took his son out of the kindergarten after drinking, and because he had the thought of "I can't get you, don't want it," he killed the killer. Police investigation revealed that although there was no record of domestic violence, the relationship between the two parties was tense and the son was taken by his parents in turn. News highlights: Xu Guang, 3218, S financial report for the first quarter of 2025 is bright, with net profit per share exceeding 4 yuan for the first time to 4.28 yuan, net profit after tax of 363 million yuan, an annual increase of more than 6%, and revenue of 1.123 billion yuan, an annual increase of 4.86%. Although the gross profit margin decreased slightly due to product mix and cost changes, operating expenses were controlled and U.S. Treasury investment income assisted, and operating profit reached 393 million yuan, an increase of 6.8% year-on-year. In the first quarter, driven by the growth of the optical business driven by the opening season and the benefits of the exhibition stores, Taiwan will add 4 new stores this year. The Chinese market turned a profit in the first quarter, improving efficiency through the closure of poor stores and the refinement of services. University Light is cautiously optimistic about its operations in the second half of the year and expects steady growth throughout the year. News highlights: TSMC, 2330, 2025 Technology Forum Taiwan was held on the 15th, and Wan Rui Yang, Director of Asia-Pacific Business, pointed out that AI is leading the new industrial revolution, and generative AI will change 40% of jobs in the future, profoundly affecting life and work patterns. He predicts that there will be 1.3 billion AI robots in the world in 2030 and 650 million in 2050, and humanoid robots will bring breakthrough applications. The popularization of AI will reshape the semiconductor industry, and TSMC continues to promote advanced transistor, silicon photonics, and stacking technologies to improve energy efficiency and reduce costs, help the development of AI, and look forward to working with the industry to create a better future. News highlights: Supermicro Computer's stock price has surged 16% for 2 consecutive days, and has risen 40.7% this week, its best performance since November last year. DataVolt, the provider of data centers in Saudi Arabia, announced that it has signed a $20 billion multi-year agreement with Supermicro to accelerate the delivery of high-density GPU platforms and cabinet systems in large AI data centers in Saudi Arabia and the United States. This collaboration underscores Supermicro's strong strategic position in the AI server space and helps drive overall AI hardware infrastructure demand. Companies such as Google, Oracle, Salesforce, AMD, and Uber also plan to invest $80 billion in advanced and innovative technologies in the two places. News highlights: Warren Buffett announced on May 3 that he would step down as CEO of Berkshire in December this year and be replaced by 62-year-old Vice Chairman Aber, who will continue to serve as chairman and has no timetable for leaving. Warren Buffett admits that as he gets older, his physical strength and some abilities have declined, but he still retains unique investment judgment and is full of confidence in Aber, believing that he is efficient and neatly managed. Warren Buffett stressed that the decision was not sudden, reflecting that he felt the changes brought about by age, and said that he would continue to work. Berkshire's stock price has fallen recently due to the handover news, but Buffett firmly believes that Arbor can grasp the direction of capital investment and lead the company to continue to grow. News highlights on March 28 this year, a magnitude 8.2 earthquake struck Sagaing Province, Myanmar, with an epicenter of only 10 kilometers, causing the collapse of the Thai audit office building and damage to many buildings. Recently, a Singaporean engineer shared the monitor footage, clearly capturing the violent dislocation of the stratum at the moment of the earthquake. The stratum on the upper right side of the factory gate was torn apart, and the high-voltage power tower collapsed, and the picture was shocking. The video was widely circulated on the internet, attracting more than 520,000 views, and netizens exclaimed that it was a rare earthquake image and believed that it should become an important teaching material for geology. News highlights before his visit to the Middle East. U.S. President Donald Trump had predicted that he would announce unprecedented significance and that it had nothing to do with trade, triggering speculation that it might be the establishment of diplomatic relations between Taiwan and the United States. But on the 14th, it was officially revealed that Trump met with Syrian interim President Sheila and announced the lifting of all sanctions against Syria, and said that Syria agreed to join the Abraham Accords and move towards recognizing Israel and normalizing relations. The talks were accompanied by Saudi Crown Prince Salman, and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan also expressed his support via video link, but Syrian officials have not confirmed the agreement. The U.S. Department of State also clarified that the previously removed U.S. Taiwan Relations webpage was only due to outdated information. News highlights: a 45-year-old man surnamed Jian was separated from his wife, and his son, a 5-year-old boy, was found to have no signs of life, bleeding from the corners of his mouth, and was suspected of being suffocated to death by his father with his bare hands. The boy's mother was unable to contact Jian Nan, so she went to her residence and was shocked to find her son in a coma and still dead in the hospital. After the police investigation, they arrested the escaped Jian Nan 3 kilometers away, who was drunk at the time and avoided talking about the facts of the crime. The police have seized the relevant items for evidence collection, and will report to the prosecutor for examination to clarify the cause of death. This case has aroused great concern and grief in the society. News highlights: during U.S. President Donald Trump's visit to Qatar, Qatar Airways signed an order with Boeing for up to $96 billion to purchase up to 210 777X and 787 wide-body aircraft, making it the largest aircraft order in Boeing's history. The aircraft are equipped with exotic space engines, and Qatar has opted for GE's GE9X and GE9X engines instead of Rolls-Royce engines. The deal is seen as an important outcome of Trump's trip to the Middle East, with Boeing and its largest engine supplier Kiwi Space both incentivized. The signing ceremony was attended by Trump, the King of Qatar, and the senior management of the two companies, indicating the deepening cooperation between the United States and Qatar. News highlights: LCY Chemicals' century-old store is using AI to drive the fourth enterprise transformation, transforming from a traditional chemical company to a data-driven scientific company. 5 years ago, AI was deployed, and now it is accelerating the transformation with generative AI and cloud computing to optimize process and industrial safety predictions. In the face of the strict quality requirements of semiconductor electronic chemicals, AI adjusts process parameters in real time to improve yield and competitiveness. Reduce the number of experiments through big data simulation, reduce costs and environmental burden. Introducing AI image recognition and power optimization technology to improve quality and save tens of millions of yuan in costs, successfully moving towards intelligent manufacturing. News highlights: TSMC pointed out at the Taiwan Technology Forum that physical AI such as humanoid robots and autonomous driving will become the next wave of trends, and the global AI robot market is expected to exceed $35 billion in 2030, with 1 in 10 cars driving autonomously. In 2024, AI technology won 2 Nobel Prizes, showing the impact of AI in fields such as healthcare, astronomy, and natural disaster prediction. Generative and agency AI will change the way work is done, increasing creativity and productivity. TSMC will continue to promote advanced transistor and packaging technologies to support the demand for AI computing power, emphasizing that AI democratization needs to take into account energy efficiency and cost, and looks forward to expanding cooperation with customers in the Asia-Pacific region. News highlights: on the anniversary of President Lai Ching-te's inauguration in May 520, the CCP held 2 military exercises around Taiwan last year, in May and October respectively, to show intimidation against Taiwan. In response to whether Taiwan will be attacked within half a year, numerologist Xiao Meng predicted with the tarot card Fool's position, showing that although the two sides of the strait are tense, they still have restraint, and the probability of attacking Taiwan is not high. The puppy symbolizing sunshine and warning in the card means that although the relationship between the two sides is turbulent, the dog will pull the person who is about to jump off the cliff, suggesting that the risk of war is limited, and the two sides of the strait are expected to develop in a positive direction this year. News highlights: recent locomotive regulations have attracted attention. First of all, if the locomotive changes its color or adds cloth covers and stickers, and the area of the change is more than 1/3 and the color is different, the vehicle must be re-inspected, otherwise it will be fined 900 to 1,800 yuan and improved within a time limit. It is recommended to use a transparent or homogeneous cloth cover to avoid violations. Secondly, Taipei City has piloted the roadside locomotive and large heavy locomotive sharing grid plan 2.0 since May 15, and 14 road sections allow red and yellow heavy machines to share parking spaces with ordinary locomotives, and illegal parking will be fined 600 to 1,200 yuan. In response to the increasing demand for heavy machinery parking, this measure alleviates the parking pressure. Motorcycle owners should pay close attention to changes in laws and regulations, and comply with the regulations to protect driving safety and rights. News highlights: a bullying storm broke out in a well-known chain aristocratic bilingual kindergarten in Taichung, and a middle-class student was pulled by a senior class student to break his clothes, strangle his neck and fall, but the teacher did not notice it in time. Parents complained that the kindergarten was downplayed as interaction and did not admit to bullying, and angrily filed a complaint with the Education Bureau. The kindergarten admitted that the communication mechanism was inadequate, and had strengthened the synchronization of parent-teacher messages, and brought the aggrieved students to apologize to the victims, but the parents still decided to withdraw from the school. The victims are reluctant to go back to school and want to forget their pain. The kindergarten is famous for its art and bilingual teaching, and its founder has deep connections with Taichung's political, economic, and educational circles, making it the first choice for middle and high-income families. News highlights: gold prices fell more than 2% on the 14th, hitting a new low in more than a month, and gold futures closed at $3,188.30 an ounce in New York. U.S. President Donald Trump said he would negotiate trade details directly with Chinese President Xi Jinping and move forward with potential agreements with India, Japan, and South Korea, boosting market risk appetite and leading to a sell-off in safe haven gold. Experts warn that if the decline continues, gold could further test the $3,136 to $3,000 mark. The market is focused on the U.S. Producer Price Index and remains to see what the Fed will do. News highlights: Hualien's well-known and long-established hotel Ramada Encore Lily announced that it will officially close its operation on June 30, 2025, ending its 12-year business history. The hotel, formerly known as Lily Jaewon Hualien Pavilion, was renamed in 2020 in cooperation with Wyndham Hotel Group, and is Wyndham's first base in Taiwan. The operator said that the lights out was in response to the overall operation strategy and resource adjustment, and although he was reluctant, he still thanked the tourists for their support over the years, making the hotel a place of spiritual rest and good memories. The last check-in date is June 29, and travelers are reminded to arrange their accommodation in advance. News highlights: the Dragon Boat Festival is approaching. Numerologist Eiffel revealed that the zodiac fortunes on May 12 are different, and the 5 zodiac signs of rat, ox, monkey, rooster, and dog are prosperous. The rat zodiac is auspicious this month, and the financial fortune is stable, so it is advisable to avoid disputes and legal disputes. The ox zodiac has noble people to help, and the career is smooth, but you need to pay attention to health. The monkey zodiac has a stable fortune and is suitable for financial management and property purchase, but it is necessary to guard against gossip. The rooster zodiac has good financial luck in his career, but his emotions are prone to fluctuations, so it is advisable to resolve conflicts in a soft tone. There are many opportunities for the dog zodiac, and it is necessary to pay attention to traffic safety and interpersonal harmony. Other zodiac signs remind them to pay attention to their physical health, avoid disputes, and maintain stability. News highlights: Taiwan's 70-year-old tire manufacturer Taifeng Tire announced that the Guanyin plant will permanently stop production and sell land and plants, due to the high anti-dumping duties and multiple tariffs in the United States affecting exports, resulting in a decline in revenue, and the cost of restarting production is not in line with efficiency. The company shifted orders to Southeast Asia Foundry to strengthen capital and reduce debt. Financial experts pointed out that the 25% tariff on auto components by the United States was the last straw that crushed Taifeng, and although the current tariffs on Taiwan were suspended, the industry still tried to reduce the impact. News highlights: Tian Fuqian, the Queen of Golden Songs, launched the Tian Tune Live in Life Field Tour, which was originally scheduled for June 7 and 8 at the new Taipei Wanli Hot Air Field, but due to safety and venue risk considerations, it was announced that it would be postponed and moved to July 5 and 6 at Jinan University in Puli, Nantou. Visitors who have already purchased tickets can retain their qualifications or apply for a refund, and the organizer will send a limited small item for thousands of miles to express their gratitude. Tian Fuqian hopes that fans can enjoy a special experience of nature and music under the premise of safety. News highlights: South Korean singer Hyuna will marry Long Junhyung in October 2024, and the two quickly changed from friends to husband and wife. After being married for more than half a year, she recently revealed on Lee Longjun's program that her husband took care of her carefully, like a modern version of Kwon Si, which made her feel more stable. Hyuna also shared the changes in her married life, including gaining weight for health, starting to watch dramas as a hobby, and has gradually laser-removed tattoos and removed facial piercings, showing mature changes. Her new album is inspired by the proverb "flowers without Decameron," and the lyrics express sincerity, which has led the host to praise her for her great improvement in eloquence. News highlights artist Wang Delu was suspected of smashing 1 million deserters. The prosecutor expanded the investigation and found that a number of artists were involved. 37-year-old artist Chen Daishan was arrested, and his fiancée Liu Pu witnessed the process and changed IG to private. Chen Daishan paid bail of 250,000 yuan, publicly bowed and apologized, admitted that he had not fulfilled his military service obligations and knew that he had violated the law, emphasized that his family and the brokerage company were not involved, and apologized to the public. Liu Pu's original scheduled attendance at the event was temporarily cancelled, and netizens left messages on her community to persuade her fiancé to fulfill his military service obligations, and the incident attracted attention. News highlights Chen Sini, a spokesman for Taiwan's East News Agency from Hualien, drove a recall propaganda vehicle into Chongqing University on the 14th, but was blocked by guards, causing a dispute. He claimed to be a student, demanded that the doctorate issue be dealt with, and demanded that the guards come up with a rule prohibiting propaganda vehicles from entering the campus, but finally forced his way into the campus, and the guards rode a motorcycle to catch up and stop him. Afterwards, the school said that according to the Basic Law on Education, the school is a neutral venue and is not allowed to conduct political propaganda, emphasizing that freedom of speech must be respected but must abide by the law, and students generally believe that the campus should avoid political interference. News highlights in response to China's unreasonable invitation to exchange a few days ago, Taiwan's Education Minister Cheng Yingyao said that cross-strait relations are tense and are currently in the orange alert stage issued by the Mainland Affairs Council, and the Ministry of Education does not encourage teachers and students to go to China for exchanges to avoid potential risks. Zheng stressed that he is not opposed to communication, but hopes that students and teachers will carefully consider safety issues, reiterating that this is a statement of fact and should not be interpreted as a political position. News highlights NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang is rumored to be arriving in Taiwan this week, and will announce the location of the overseas headquarters at Computex 2025 next week. Taipei Mayor Chang Wanan said in response to a question from the city council that the city government is actively striving for it, but he described the progress of the negotiations as uncooked and has a low-key and conservative attitude. The bureau confirmed that it had provided information about potential bases for NVIDIA's evaluation, but the details were kept confidential. News highlights the second wave of the Flash Soldier case broke out, and a number of artists were involved, including Chen Lingchu, Chen Daishan, William, etc., who used fake medical records to evade military service, and the bail fell between 10 and 500,000 yuan, of which William was up to 500,000 yuan. It is reported that the Flash Soldier group shouted prices according to the popularity of the artists, and the cost mostly ranged from 10 to 500,000 yuan, and Wang Delu even threw down 3.6 million yuan. The police continued to investigate, and the incident caused a shock in the entertainment industry, which may affect the future development of many artists. News highlights the action to remove DPP legislators Wu Pei and Wu Saiyao has entered the second phase of urgency, and Li Xiaoyang, the leader of Wu Pei, called for support from the opposition parties on the 14th, but said that he could not contact Kuomintang chairman Zhu Liluan, which caused criticism. Li publicly bowed and apologized on the 15th, emphasizing that he would be cautious in his words and deeds. Kuomintang deputy spokesman Deng Kaixun strongly supported Li, saying that there was no need to apologize, and criticized the DPP for creating a chilling effect. News highlights as the 2026 new Taipei mayoral election heats up, former legislator Guo Zhengliang was included in the poll list, which has attracted attention. Guo Zhengliang responded in support of Blue and White He, and emphasized that he was good friends with Hou Yuyi and Huang Qiukang. Huang Yangming, a media person, pointed out that the polls of such undisclosed institutions are internal reference, which may be to test the changes in the polls of Li Sichuan and question the peculiarity of using phone numbers in Taichung. News highlights the draw results of the 2027 FIBA Men's Basketball World Cup Asian Qualifying Tournament have been released, and the Chinese team is in Group C with China, Japan, and South Korea, which can be called the Group of Death in East Asia. This will be the first time that the men's basketball teams on both sides of the strait will play against each other in Taiwan, which is of historical significance, but due to political sensitivity, it may set off controversy inside and outside the court. The sports department stressed that it will be handled in accordance with FIBA regulations, and relevant people called on fans to respond rationally and not let sports become a political wrestling field. News highlights the U.S.-China trade war was suspended for 90 days, and the two sides agreed to cut tariffs by 115%, a move Trump said would help unity and peace. In this regard, Wu Zijia analyzed that the improvement of US-China relations will restrict Li Qing's speeches and actions of resisting China and protecting Taiwan, and he may be under the control of the United States and China in the future. If Li still takes a strong stance in his 520th anniversary speech, it may affect the U.S.-China negotiations and further affect the development of the recall movement. News highlights former chairman of the People's Party K. Wenz was involved in the Jinghua City case, and the Taipei District Court reconvened the trial on the 15th, summoning former Deputy Mayor Lin Qinrong, former director of the Capital Development Bureau Lin Human, and pleaded guilty defendant Peng Zhensheng to appear in court. Before the trial, the judge found that Huang Shanshan, a legislator of the People's Party, was present and asked to leave the court because Kei Wen's had asked her to be a witness. Lin Qinrong testified that Kei had instructed the Jinghua City case to be reported regularly, and said that giving an extra 1 square meter is a profit, and also presented a written conversation with Kei and Kei to discuss Du, emphasizing that Kei has a deeper understanding of Du. News highlights: Fubon China Policy Financial Bond ETF, 00718B, will terminate over-the-counter trading on June 18 due to a long-term downturn in asset scale, becoming the 4th ETF to be listed this year. The fund has been listed for 7 years, and the average net value has been less than 200 million yuan for 30 consecutive days, and the number of beneficiaries has dropped to 623. Site has been approved to terminate the trust deed, allowing investors to trade before the market goes down, after which funds will be distributed based on the net liquidation value. News highlights: on the 15th, the Labor Insurance Bureau of the Ministry of Labor issued the National Pension Insurance, Maternity Benefits, and Funeral Benefits. The maternity benefit will be issued for 2 months at a time according to the monthly insured amount, which is about 39,522 yuan, and the twins and multiple births will increase proportionally. The funeral benefit is 5 months of insurance amount, about 98,805 yuan. The application period is within 5 years from the date of birth or death. In addition, a number of retirement and subsidy allowances will be paid at the end of May, and the public can keep an eye on the status of their accounts. News highlights: Japanese manga artist Natsuki Yoshi once accurately predicted the 311 earthquake in the manga The Future I See, and mentioned that a larger earthquake may occur on July 5 this year, causing panic and a sharp drop in tourists. Nagarjuna recently responded that it is good for the public to raise awareness of disaster prevention, but called on everyone to refer to expert opinions and avoid excessive speculation. The publisher also emphasized that the content of the book is derived from the author's foreknowledge of dreams, and is not intended to cause panic, reminding everyone to take disaster seriously and properly and pay attention to professional advice. News highlights: Liu Yanyan, a 72-year-old Taiwanese singer who is popular all over Taiwan with Bringing It Together, gave birth to a child out of wedlock at the peak of acting 30 years ago, because the society at that time conservatively chose to leave the fluorescent screen temporarily, and the son was mostly taken care of by the third sister, and could only be called the third sister aunt, and the mother-son relationship was concealed for more than 10 years. It wasn't until her son was in middle school that she knew the truth. Liu Yanyan had fought for custody with her biological father and won the lawsuit, and now she calmly admits her son's identity, and says that she feels guilty but also faces the past with peace of mind. News highlights: sexual violence against women in the North Korean military is frequent, and victims have nowhere to complain, and are tortured and even humiliated by their superiors. Former female military officers revealed that sexual assault by superiors is common, refusals are suppressed, women are forced to endure the culture of choosing concubines, and some even see sexual assault as an opportunity for career advancement. She once witnessed her subordinates being sexually assaulted in the pig barn, but the political instructor responded indifferently by pretending not to know. The report notes that this reflects the systemic and structural human rights violations in North Korea, which, if not addressed, will continue to silence the victims and worsen the overall human rights situation. News highlights: artist Su Guanggan attended the Substitution Award ceremony on the 14th, driving the atmosphere of the audience, performing brilliantly and becoming the focus. At the same time, among the 9 artists arrested for being involved in the Flash Soldier group Turmoil, Wang Dalu, who set off the incident, also attended in a low-key manner, but could only sit in the audience to watch the ceremony, and pulled on his mask to avoid the camera when he was photographed. Wang Dalu is still serving in substitute service, and this incident is in strong contrast with Su Guanggan on the same occasion, which has attracted attention. News highlights: a 3-story building in the New Camp area in Tainan collapsed without warning in the early morning of the 14th, but fortunately there were no casualties. Preliminary investigation revealed that the cause of the collapse was suspected to be due to improper foundation excavation and retaining measures during the construction of the adjacent 5-story building, resulting in damage to the foundation of the Daoxianquo and loss of support. The Tainan Municipal Public Works Bureau has ordered the site to stop work and fined 90,000 yuan to strengthen safety management. The construction unit will be responsible for the aftermath of the demolition and compensation, and the Public Works Bureau stresses the need to strictly implement construction safety and protect the rights and interests of residents.